Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Katamari Forever. I'm Dylan, I'm your host, and today, at the King's Cosmos, we're headed to our next stage. It is shopping. So you may remember, also here in the King's Cosmos, the money stage. Well, the shopping stage is similar to the money stage, though with the variables sort of turned upside down. The limiting factor this time around is not time, but money. And the judging factor is not money or even size, but a number of objects. So we're going to be given a specific budget, and our goal is to find the cheapest objects we can in order to maximize the total number of objects in the Katamari. And so, without time as a limiting factor, the stage will not end until we've spent our entire budget, which in this case is 300,000 yen. And I actually did my homework this time around and I looked up the conversion rate. 300,000 yen is somewhat over $3,000. That's the case today, and it was the case back in 2009 when this game came out as well. Hasn't been a big change on that front. So we're going to be trying to get roughly $3,000 worth of objects. I happen to know that a good score on this stage is about 1,000 objects. So I'm going to make that the goal for myself here. It's a bit of an arbitrary limitation, but let's see if we can do it. Get 1,000 objects in our 300,000 yen budget. And while we're doing so, I'm going to be trying to get the royal present and the cousin on this stage as well. Only one of each, so we don't have to worry about hunting down those guys too much. Now, you got to look out for these tennis rackets here because, they serve as a bridge, but not as well as you'd like them to. If you're the wrong size when you cross there, it's possible to get stuck in between them and lose a lot of time. It's happened to me more than once, so be careful with that. Try to stay on one racket or the other. So as you can see, most of the objects we've picked up here in this starting area have been rather cheap. Oh, by the way, I should point out, we're back at the supermarket. You may remember this from some earlier stages, specifically the kilocalorie stage. I don't remember what that one is actually called. Is it nutrition? Or the food one? The food one was here. We were in this same vicinity. Though the objects here have changed quite a lot, particularly in other areas of the store. Here in the eatery, things don't look too different than they did before. Still has sort of a fast food aesthetic to it. We're going to get off this elevator here if we can and get that royal present. And there it is. It looked pretty big, but it seems that we were large enough to get it. Well, it seems that way because it is that way. We were able to get it. It's in the Katamari, and so let's try not to crash into anything and lose it. Now you gotta be careful. You don't want to go too fast here. We have all the time that we need, so we're going to take it. These chopsticks here look nice. They're all very cheap, and there's a ton of them. Now remember, the size of the object is almost entirely irrelevant on this stage. Getting big is good because it means you can roll up bigger stuff, but the final judgment here is not based on our size. It's based on the number of items. You can see in the top left there, our current size, 39 centimeters, 1 millimeter, displayed in smaller text than the number of items, currently at 196 out of our self-imposed goal of 1,000. Now, I was starting to say something. I don't remember what it was. Oh, I think I was saying that, yeah, okay. Here's a good example. This bowl of soup here, it has some gold thing sticking out of it. So, I'm not going to be rolling that up because that gold thing is probably worth a lot of money, and things that are worth a lot of money are bad on this stage. I know, you gotta wrap your head around that. So I was beginning to say, that's right, that you should take your time here and pay close attention to the objects you're gathering. This is one of those gimmick stages where you have to pay attention to your surroundings and not just recklessly roll up whatever object is in your way, which is what Katamari trains you to do. So you've kind of got to reverse your thinking here, because the properties of the objects you're rolling up are important, and you've got to make some judgment calls about what you think is expensive and what is not. For example, I didn't see how much they were, but I probably should not have rolled up those swords, because swords are more expensive than, say, pieces of toast, which are the kind of things I want to be rolling up right now. And this onigiri here, only worth 100 yen. That's the sort of thing we want. Not expensive. Oh, not expensive stuff like that 3,000 yen gold bar. I did not want that. I should not be here. Let's get back down to ground level where there are fewer things like that. So yeah, you may remember on the money stage that there were some, well, I talked about that stage being kind of high variance. you could feel like you were doing pretty well and actually get a terrible score because there wasn't a lot of relation between the value of your Katamari in terms of yen and the size of your Katamari. You could roll up tons and tons and tons of objects and just never accumulate the right amount of money because you could just be getting cheap stuff all the time. While other times, you could just like kind of randomly run across really expensive objects. There was that ring in with the bananas, stuff like that you just kind of had to find out where it was through trial and error. And in this stage is sort of like that too, where you can just like randomly run into a really valuable object that you weren't expecting to be there. But in this case, it's bad. So instead of hoping to come across those things, you're hoping to not come across those things. And you want to remember where they are so that you can not go there next time you play the stage. So it's a good idea to always be aware of what you're rolling up and try to not roll areas where you can't see behind the thing you're rolling up, because expensive stuff can be hidden under piles of cheap stuff or behind stacks of cheap stuff. And as you can see, we're now here in the grocery area of this store. Oops, I did not mean to roll there. Don't know how I managed to pull that off. Yeah, just stacks and stacks of items. You can't see what's behind it. We just got bumped into some stacks of items. Anyway, here's our cousin. Let's grab Harvest there. And now we have Harvest, our new cousin, and our new royal present. Unfortunately, though, our budget is 1/6 of what we started with, so we may not be reaching the 1,000 item goal just yet. But I'm going to do the best I can to not just run down the budget, even though I'm thinking at this point I'm probably going to have to play this stage again if I want a score I'm satisfied with. Let's jump up here, grab these canned beverage sections. Actually, those are not very good, because all of those cans count as a single object, I believe, because it was named as a single object, canned beverage section. There were not individually named canned beverages there. Oh, god damn it. Alright, so what happened there is I lost control of myself, and I rolled into a display of objects that probably had something expensive hidden within its depths, and that's not good. Royal Rainbow! Nope, not good at all. But let's see the king's final verdict. It may not be as harsh as I'm being, but I'm just going to say this one does not feel like a winner to me. What did we get for our 300,000 yen? Let's find out. King not quite sure on Earth prices. I'm not quite sure on Japanese prices, but let's see what it all adds up to. Mostly food, also fruit and cooking, 853 objects in total. That's the important part, and that's not a very big number. I mean, it's a big number. It's definitely more objects than we've rolled up on many of the stages we've played so far, but here it's much more important than it's ever been before. 62 points. Okay, so that doesn't actually seem terribly grim. 62 points. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Like, I'm not satisfied, but it's good. It's fine. It's fine. Actually, yeah, I think I'm good with that. I think I'm gonna call it a day after this. You might be able to hear my throat is actually getting a little bit sore here. I might be losing my voice a bit, so I should probably avoid talking too much longer. We can just call it quits after this. But we'll be sure to check out our royal present first. But before we do that even, we get to make the Hungry Space Station worth 62 points. That's right, we were making a space station. Not the type of thing you normally want to cut too many corners on price-wise, but there it is. Ah, and we get a Queen's Diary. Very nice. Let's watch. I wish we could check in on the Queen more often. These segments are so delightful. Queen here, obviously an expert shopper, much like we are with our 62-point shopping Katamari. I might revisit that stage again someday, but like I said, calling it quits right now. But we have enough time that we can try out our new royal present, so let's head over here to the present stand on the Cousins and Presents page. believe it goes in this category down here. And as I say that, I realize that no, that's actually completely wrong. It's up here. There it is. The Kite. And speaking of the queen, we can see that the prince's mask is actually of the queen. It's significantly different than the like masquerade style mask that the princess had. So there it is. We're gonna what the hell? We'll leave that on. It's fun, and we'll grab the cloak too that goes with it. Okay, now that we've given such a bizarre style to our prince there, it's time to take off. Leave him to fend for himself. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.